Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Footy Banter and Insights. Today we are going to be looking at La Liga. The La Liga season has also just started, and we've got two resident die-hard fans. We've got Vansh, who's a die-hard Barca supporter, and of course we have Manan, who's a lifelong Madrid supporter and has actually spent some time in Madrid personally as well. So we'd love to hear their opinions on the game week one, specifically with a focus on Barca, Real, and Atletico. So over to you guys. I think let's start with the youngest member of our team. So Vanch, what were your thoughts on the entire game week and how did you see it pan out?
So I didn't catch all the matches. I could only watch the top three games, which was Atletico, Barca, and Real. Even in that, I missed a good part of Atletico game. But overall, I think first game week, neither of the teams in the big three looked settled. I think their formation and their strategy and that intensity was not there from either of the team. So that was a big thing to take away. That was a big takeaway for me. If I have to talk about specifically Barcelona game, I think as a Barca fan, I was disappointed with the result. 3-0 win looks good, but with uh, Mallorca being two men down just 5-7 minutes before the second half even began, I think they should have gone on to score more. And I think that's what even Flick said. He also said in the post match conference that he's not happy with the way we played in terms of intensity and that intent. So I feel that was the main takeaway. Overall, not a very convincing game for Barcelona.
Who were the standout players for you in that game?
Standout players, I think initially Amal played well. He got a good cross in, after which Rafinha ended up converting. But post that, after the two reds, I think the game everybody just slacked off, and it ended up being ended up extending their pre-season by 1 week, is what I feel.
I mean, the goal by Yamal at the end was crazy, right? Like, I mean, what a hit! And I feel the cross for the first goal and Rafinha's first goal were also really good. So, I mean, he proved like again like made a difference with an assist and a goal, I guess. So, yeah.
So with Yamal and Barca, I think what we find spectacular watching the Premier League, that is like a routine run in the park for them.
Yeah,
Because I've seen Yamal do this at least 6, 7 times last season as well.
I saw a very weird fake news today
But how?
that City are bidding 250 million for Yamal.
Definitely not happening.
Would Barca take it?
No
Huh?
chance. No chance.
Yeah.
No
That
way.
sort
I
of
think
helps them with their financial issues, no?
financial
It
issues, but that's the thing. Like Yamal gets in that much revenue as well in terms of sponsorship deals and short sales and everything. So, and he's the poster boy right now, right? So I think after Messi left, he's
Yeah.
the
Am I
one.
frozen or is Vansh frozen?
I think Manan, you were frozen.
So Yamal has been, I think, the ideal number 10 jersey replacement. So I don't see him leaving for money. It can happen that in the future. I don't wish it happens, but like how the Messi saga happened with the FFP, I think if something like that happens, only then do I see him leaving. Otherwise, I don't see him at all.
So, interestingly enough, Vansh has actually met Yamal. Vansh, you want to share a story of how you actually met Yamal?
Arey wah.
So this was a crazy story, and this has been the highlight of my 2024. So it happened towards the end in December. I was in Dubai, Ferrari World, and so regular day I was waiting for the ride in a line, and I see that all of a sudden Yamal is there, and because he's a celebrity, he was given that priority to be the first one to ride the roller coaster. Now, luckily, what happened? He was wearing a cast. He was injured for like 3 to 4 weeks in December, just before the winter break. So he was injured. He was wearing a cast, and now the rules of the theme park were that he couldn't have entered the ride with a cast, and he had to remove it. And when he removed the cast, he didn't have a shoe, and because his leg was injured, they didn't want to take a risk. So they were looking for someone to wear to borrow a shoe from. Now a lot of people were offering the shoe, but again, because he's Adidas sponsored and Adidas ambassador, he couldn't wear. Luckily, that day I was wearing an Adidas shoe with the same size as him, and I ended up lending him my shoe, and that's how I met him. Got a photo, got my band signed him from as well. So that was a crazy story.
And where is that shoe hanging in your home?
That shoe is part of my sneaker wall, and it's at the top. So
Do you
I
continue to wear that?
Yes, I do, because also that was one of my first sneakers I ever got. So it has a lot of sentiment behind it as well. And with Yamal wearing it, it has got 1000x more special for me.
Nice,
Nice.
nice.
Okay, so moving on to the Madrid game. Uh, Manan, any thoughts on the game yesterday?
I mean, Madrid right now is a collection of good players who are not playing together yet as a team. The whole remit of Xabi Alonso is to make them do that. Mbappe was pressing a lot more, still not enough, but a lot more than last year. And yeah, he scored the goal via penalty. Interestingly, Rodrigo did not play any minutes, so maybe that's a signal by the club to him that we want you to leave. Although apparently the player loves Madrid, loves Real Madrid, and he really doesn't want to leave and wants to stay and prove his worth, which is admirable as well. But he's played an average of 15 minutes since Xabi Alonso has taken over as the manager of Real Madrid, so signs are not so good. In terms of defensive performance, they were not really threatened much. Um, Trent did Trent stuff where he like made a bunch of very good passes, but also had like his defensive frailties shown up a bit. Militao is back, coming back from a second ACL injury, and Hoyson is a talent. Like he was really good with his passing. But otherwise, regulation, like not a very good performance, but just having brilliant individuals who can sort of nick a goal here and there and win you a game against like not so good opposition.
So from what I saw, I felt like Mbappe stood out. I think out of all the players, I feel he was too good. He was a different gravy last night. He kept falling behind. He kept dropping back to get more possession of the ball, and his dribbling was too good. Even how he was the one who won the penalty, it was a reckless challenge on him from the defender, defensive mistake, but still, I think he was good overall in terms of his positioning, and he got more freedom, I feel, compared to last year, where he had to stay central in the previous season. This time, he got more freedom in terms of positioning and everything. It was obviously very strange to see that someone like Franco Mastuntono play ahead of Rodrigo, and Brahim Diaz as well play ahead of Rodrigo, and Rodrigo not getting any minutes at all. So I would ideally, if I was in Xabi Alonso's shoes, I would have compared both Vinicius and Rodrigo, given them both a chance to show their worth. But I think he thinks differently. Overall, I feel like Manan said that defensively they were not challenged much, and I think that's on Osasuna, because I think they had some amazing solo runs, but there was no supporting runs or no supporting positioning to play a 1-2 to carry out that run. And so it happened, I think, four back to back plays where uh, Osasuna had possession and they carried the ball through the half line, dribbling past three or four players. But then there is no other player around them. So they're surrounded by four or five Madrid shorts and no one to play it to for like a 1-2 or play a long ball to. And then in the end, they end up giving possession. So I feel that was a very big thing. I don't know what to say about that, but I think if that was something that Osasuna could have fixed, they could have scored at least one goal, or maybe the game would have not been as easy as it seemed.
So, one question to you guys. Given that you guys follow the Spanish league quite closely, what kind of difference were there in terms of tactics that Alonso was deploying compared to what Ancelotti used to do?
Once you want to take this,
Yeah, so one thing, like I said, Mbappe got more positioning freedom. He was constantly dropping back and carrying the ball. That was one thing that I felt different. The back line obviously changed. So you would see Hoitzin play like a left back, like a left wing back kind of sort. You play close to the half line, and you had Militao, Chouameni, and Trent. If the attack was from the left, then Trent would play the third centre back, or else it would be vice versa. So I think that positioning wise, that was a big difference. Carreras played really well. He took the more, I think, central role in the game, and he had a decent game as well. Overall, I think in tactics, it was too soon to say because it's just one game. So it would be, and you miss one of the major players like Jude Bellingham was out. You didn't have him. So once he comes into the picture again, things will change because he is more attacking. So whether Mbappe continues to drop back that much or how it changes, that would be one thing to see. But I think that freedom for Mbappe is one of the key points. That's what I noticed.
I think
Also,
also
so good
like
to see, with just one comment, so good to see Militao back. I think we were discussing how difficult it would be to come back. So, like, again, just as football supporters, great to see him back.
yeah, it's been 2 lost years for him now, and sort of close to when he was just becoming like a world 11 type of a player at centre back.
But
Yeah, Manan, you were mentioning something.
Yeah, I was saying that there is a lack of width, especially on the right hand side of Madrid's attack, because like Trent doesn't bomb forward, hugging the touchline, and Brahim Diaz was also not doing that. So they need like it becomes very crowded in the central areas, and they need someone to provide width. Maybe it's the new Argentinian kid. Maybe it's Guler who plays there once Bellingham is back. Uh, but they need like someone to provide that width so that the game can be stretched and there's space for their pacey players to run into.
I think it's still a little early to judge. I feel let's just give it a little bit of time. I mean, again, like it's trend. I think I don't know.
No,
I
no, I'm
think
just saying what happened yesterday.
yeah.
I'm not saying it's going to be this way, but you could see some more structure compared to last year. You could see a slightly more coordinated press. Defensive shape was slightly better. So, so there are some things going on. Let's see how it progresses.
So basically, if Rodrigo leaves,
Hmm.
Brahim Diaz becomes the number one player on the right. Is that the takeaway?
I think even if Rodrigo was there, he's not really a player who plays on the right anyway, right? I mean, that's sort of like a square peg in a round hole. I
So
think,
basically, currently the right
uh,
winger is Brahim Diaz, right?
yeah,
Is
I think Franco Mastantuano might actually take that position up in a month or 2 months because he was very bright when he came on.
do
So,
you guys
Madrid
think that
not.
Brahim Diaz is that level?
No, not starting for Real Madrid.
Exactly.
I hear Madueke may be available next year from Arsenal.
You take him this season itself, Jan will go back.
Arey, they'll get Saka next year from us. Yeah, what are you talking about?
मत बोल यार ऐसा.
अगले साल सलीबा और साका दोनों डबल सूप.
I hope not, because I think both of them have signed the. At least Saka has signed the contract recently, right? So not that it stops Madrid, but yeah. Anyways,
So Madrid winning possibly without playing their best football, and Barca still in second gear, getting a very good result as well. And very surprisingly, we saw a defeat for Atletico. I haven't followed the Atletico game closely at all, but given the kind of signings that they had made throughout the season, the transfer season, I think they would have actually done better. Of course, it's only one game, but very surprising to see them lose from day one.
So
So with
Atletico de
them,
Madrid. Sorry. Go ahead, Vansh.
no, go on, sorry.
I was going to say Atletico de Madrid have been one of the biggest spenders in the transfer market over the past two seasons. If you like add up both, they have had they've spent a lot of money, and they played very well for the first 60, 65 odd minutes, and then they sort of uh, lost momentum and collapsed a bit, and that's when they lost. And Simeone took out three players who had been doing very well. One was Alvarez, and then there was Thiago Almada and Alex Baena, who are the two new signings this season. And he got some flack for doing that, but I feel they're going to be competitive this season, and they're going to they played football that is very different to what you expect from a Simeone team in terms of attacking patterns and fluidity. So I believe they will be in the mix this season.
let the new players settle in again. You
Yeah,
will open the Simeone style.
yeah. Agreed.
So for me, Julian Alvarez was the standout. His free kick goal was amazing. He had another couple of plays where he was very calm on the ball with players pressing on him, and I really liked how he played. Alex Baina as well was very good. He constructed a few beautiful plays with 1-2 passing and decoy runs. I think, like Manan said, for the first 60-65 minutes, Atletico dominated the game. But when Espanyol scored the equalizer, I think that's when it was out of the pace of the game, right? The game was completely dominated by Atletico, and then all of a sudden, Espanyol scored an equalizer, which was a very good finish, I feel, on the near post, a good finish to beat Oblak. So that is where I think the tables turned. Atletico was caught off guard, and then I think their shoulders just dropped in terms of their mentality and their body language, and then the game got more competitive. But again, I feel this season they're looking different in terms of how they're approaching their attack, how they're moving forward, a bit more aggressive approach from Simeone, and it's a matter of letting players settle to the system. So I think going forward in the season, this time they'll be more competitive than the previous season for sure.
One silly
That
transfer
time now
conjecture.
where Atletico is going to probably win the league this season or the next, right? They are winning once every 5 odd years uh, since Simeone has joined, so it's close to that time happening again.
So there is some, at least on Twitter, there were some accounts which were sharing that Alvarez thinks he's made a mistake by joining Atletico. And this is what we had discussed last season, wherein he moved from Man City to Atletico. And if there is a possibility of him not being settled over there or not being, let's say, utilized in the way he would want, especially in a World Cup year, I think there could be a possibility that he can make a move to the Premier League. Now, unfortunately or fortunately, the only club with the finances who can actually afford that is Liverpool. And in case the Isaac deal doesn't happen and they're prepared to spend 100, 120 million pounds, this could be again a very, very interesting swoop.
I think not enough time left in the window.
Also, I think they are just rumors. Yeah. Like he seems to be very
Hmm.
settled there. He seems to be the main guy. So, like he's playing a position that he prefers. I don't see this happening in the next 12 months.
So there were rumors that Laporta and Deco both are very fond of Alvarez, and they feel like he's the ideal replacement for Lewandowski. So if he leaves, I want him to come to Barca.
If Premier League clubs don't have the money, Barcelona definitely doesn't have the money to buy Alvarez.
Great. Any last comments on the La Liga week? I think I know we have covered just the top three fixtures, but
Yeah, I
any
think I want to
is
circle back to one thing is the right winger position at Real Madrid. So if you look at how Xabi Alonso's system works, is that he doesn't actually need a proper right winger in his lineup. Like if you see how he played with Leverkusen, he played with a 3-5-2 kind of formation, where you had two centre forwards and essentially two wing backs. Yeah. So he doesn't need a right winger per se. But it'd be interesting to see how it lines up because Madrid has been known for playing with a back four. So how this changes or how they fix or how Xavi Alonso changes his tactics and how he wants to play would be an interesting thing to see.
true. Great. Shall we wrap up, guys?
Sure.
Okay. Thanks for watching, everyone. Do hit the like button, subscribe, share, and do let us know what you think about the last weekend's fixture in La Liga. We'd love to hear from you all, and we'll see you next week. See you.